Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your planning outlook video updated on Friday the 24th of November. So wintry conditions have arrived again across the mountains and they're very much here to stay over the next week to 10 days. A little bit of uncertainty around Monday, but overall next week is going to be dominated by strong and cold northerly winds with snow feeding in particularly to the northern side of the highlands, bands of showers elsewhere, so some significant accumulations across some of the mountain areas. Now just to look at a slightly more technical chart, this is what we call the 500 millibar chart, and it's a good steer for the instability of the atmosphere. And where you've got very cold air aloft, you've got the greater chance for convective clouds to grow to ever greater heights and therefore produce more intense showers, and the scope for some hail, rumbles of thunder, and really getting hail and snow penetrating down to very low levels with that sort of setup. This is the current time, Friday evening through into Saturday. You see how the depth of cold air is sweeping across the country. You've got around minus 38 at that level in the atmosphere. That's deeply cold air, nothing desperately unusual by normal wintertime standards in these sorts of setups, but it is that trigger for the very intense showers that have been rattling their way in to many western mountains through Friday and will do again on Saturday. Just notice how as we go through into Sunday, that very cold air just moves away somewhat eastwards. There will still be some showers coming in, but just a little bit less intense as temperatures at that height become comparatively warmer at around minus 25. Doesn't sound a lot, but it's just enough to take the worst of the intensity out of those heavy showers. If we just move forwards briefly though into the start of next week, that very cold air from the north comes back down again, so showers with snow and hail down to low levels will be coming in. Some heavy squally bursts coming down from the north. With the winds turning northerly, it's really northern Scotland that will take the brunt of those showers. Some bands will feed their way into the Irish Sea and maybe coming down into Snowdonia pretty widely too. Now we've dropped down slightly through the atmosphere now. We're now down to another fairly standard height that we use in meteorology. It's 850 millibars. That's at around 4,500 to 5,000 feet. It varies with temperature. At the moment it's nearer to 4,500 feet. So these values shown here are quite representative of the temperatures seen on the higher Scottish summits. We've got a value of minus 7 shown here. This is through Friday into Saturday. And it's pretty accurate because Cairngorm summit today on Friday was measuring at minus 7. So we could pretty much say that the model has got a fair handle on what's going on the tops of the mountains based on this chart. Now temperatures over the weekend will stay more or less at very similar cold levels on the tops of the Scottish mountains. We just see a brief lift in temperatures and freezing level through into Sunday night and Monday as fronts will move in from the Atlantic, and we'll show you those charts in a moment. It may just mean that, particularly across England and Wales, there's a thaw of any lying snow for a time as some rain comes through. I suspect across most of the highlands, though, it's still snow over the higher tops as the freezing level never quite makes it to the summits. And even if it does so, it will soon drop again as we go through Monday and certainly on into Tuesday. Freezing levels dropping, temperatures lowering on the mountains. And if we just skip forwards over a good many days next week towards the end of November, as we head to the 30th of November through to the 1st of December, that cold air very much stays with us. Quite what happens by the end of the week in terms of where the air is exactly coming from is open to some question. But you can take the message that the week ahead is going to stay cold. So let's have a skim through the charts then. Full details, of course, for the weekend, as always, in all the written files here on the website for your mountain area. Saturday sees low pressure focused towards the Norwegian Sea. We've got strong to gale force west-northwesterly winds across all mountains, across the higher Scottish tops, 40-50 miles per hour. Squally gusts that are stronger than that around showers that will rattle into the western and northwestern highlands. Some bands of showers making their way all the way eastwards, but fewer of them once you're towards the eastern side of the Cairngorms. Bands of showers also feeding in off the Irish Sea towards the Pennines into the Lake District and North Wales. Snow and hail falling to low levels and the risk of isolated thunder. As we saw on those upper air temperature charts, that the air not quite as unstable by Sunday, but nevertheless some bands of showers will be still feeding in from the Irish Sea. A little ridge of high pressure is coming in, but still a strong wind and still a severe wind chill factor where directly exposed. Wind speeds 20-30 miles per hour or a bit stronger perhaps, particularly early in the day across northeast Scotland. Fronts then are moving in from the Atlantic. There's the slightly milder air that will be trapped within those fronts to move in later Sunday, and some of that precipitation, a bit of sleet and snow, may well be arriving in western Scotland before dark on Sunday evening. Those fronts will quickly make their way eastwards though overnight, and a good clearance coming through, it looks like, across much of Wales and northern England. Behind that cold front, 1 or 2 showers may follow. Difficulty with the details across Scotland though, just as that area of low pressure just wraps around on itself, there may be bands of sleet and snow showers and some hail mixed in again, coming down to increasingly low levels as we go through the day on Monday across Scotland. Eventually the winds will turn round quickly towards northerlies. So freezing levels dropping, and temperatures across the country as a whole will be dropping through into midweek. Bands of showers then feeding down on those northerly winds. Northern Scotland, northeastern Scotland particularly at risk of some substantial snowfalls across the Highlands. The Cairngorms then in the line for that. The borders, North Yorkshire Moors will do for that matter. Snowdonia too, with bands of showers coming in off the Irish Sea, just feeding down into North Wales. Strong winds again, the risk of gale force winds, but just some uncertainty on the exact shape of this low that's over the North Sea. So north or even northeasterly winds may well be with us through into midweek. Again, it's those exposed spots in northern Scotland in the firing line for snow showers feeding in frequently. Maybe just getting onto the eastern side of the Pennines if those bands coming in from the North Sea do just get steered further inland. And likewise over North Wales still too in line for those northerlies feeding showers off the Irish Sea. A degree of uncertainty then about the very end of the week, but the idea is looking cold. It looks as though we've got a north or northeasterly wind, a big block of high pressure focused to the west of us, low pressure somewhere over continental Europe, a chance that we may even go east or northeasterly, so either way it's looking at a cold outlook. Quite how things then transition through the weekend and beyond are uncertain. It may just be that it's fairly cold and dry across many places, hard frosts and terrain frozen from lower levels up, heading towards that next weekend. So a wintry spell is here to stay through into early December. So stay right up to date with the very latest information before heading out onto the hills. We've also been doing some extra shorter range videos that have gone out on our social media feeds. They're on the video page on the Mountain Weather Information Service website now as well, so you can check those out. We'll be updating through the weekend. Thanks for watching this planning video today though, and bye for now.